Welcome to the MU Career Center's training on interviewing. It is important to be prepared, know who you are and what you want, and practice that professional polish to show off your strengths. Your note-taking experience has provided some great transferable skills that can help you show an employer what you can contribute, so make sure to include that in your preparation. In this training, we will review the 3 P's of interviewing: preparation, purpose, and polish. Congratulations! You are invited to an interview due to your amazing resume, cover letter, and networking skills. An interview will give you the opportunity to promote your professional image, show your potential, and highlight your relevant skills and interests. Now it's time to learn how to prepare and ace the interview. Let's begin to discuss those 3 P's: preparation, purpose, and polish. Let's start with preparation. It is important to research the company thoroughly. First, check out the company's website for information about their mission, values, services, and accomplishments. Also, for a more objective view, you can Google the company to see if they have been in the news in recent months, talk to current employees, and follow them on social media. You can also use LinkedIn to find connections. Who are the employees that work there? Can you connect? On the MU Career Center's e-resources page, you will find a link to Glassdoor.com, which is a free website that offers company reviews, salary reports, interview questions, and workplace photos, all posted by people on the inside, and it's all for free. Make sure to access it through the MU Career Center's e-resources page so that you have access to all of the information. Next, make sure you get the logistics of the interview. Where will the interview take place, and where should you park? How long will it take to get there? Be sure to arrive at least 10 to 15 minutes early. The key to a good interview is to prepare and practice as much as possible. It is important to practice out loud, whether it's with a friend, family member, or in front of a mirror. One of the best ways to practice is to schedule a mock interview through the MU Career Center or through their online mock interviewing system called InterviewStream. Check out their website for more information on both. Finally, don't forget to bring the essential items to your interview. Bring several copies of your resume and references, a pad folio or professional notebook, and a pen, and always leave your phone in the car. To ace the interview, a good first impression is crucial. Overall, confidence is the best accessory. At the interview, you should greet the interviewer with a strong handshake. Also, be aware of your body language. A smile, strong eye contact, and good posture convey a positive self-image. Showing enthusiasm and asking questions are also good ways to verbalize your confidence. You want to dress appropriately for your interview, so always wear business attire, regardless of the job position. Here are some general rules about professional dress. In general, both men and women should try to avoid trendy styles. Instead, choose a traditional suit in a neutral color like black, gray, brown, or navy. Make sure that the top and bottom of your suit match in color. The preferred color of the shirt should be white or a light-colored shirt. For men, wear a tie. The length of your tie should reach your belt. Make sure you are wearing socks that match your suit and well-polished dressed shoes. For women, you can either choose to wear a pantsuit or a skirt suit with a knee-length hemline. Limit jewelry and wear closed-toed shoes with an appropriate heel. Now that you know how to prepare for an interview, let's discuss what your purpose should be during your interview. Your purpose should be to promote your strengths and valuable qualities to the employer. It will be helpful to know what type of questions the employer will ask so that you can respond in a way that highlights your unique talents and helps make you stand apart from other candidates. Which strengths should you promote, and how do you show yourself as valuable to the company? Employers are often looking for certain skills and qualities in candidates. According to employer surveys, employers look for skills such as communication and interpersonal skills, teamwork skills, problem-solving skills, analytical skills, and skills related to work experience and your transferable skills. Skills that are also beneficial to exhibit in an interview are enthusiasm and energy, adaptability and flexibility, leadership, satisfactory grades, which are usually 3.0 or higher, innovative and motivation, and strong work ethics. Also, keep in mind that there are certain qualities that employers do not like to see in an interview, such as trash-talking past employers, poor research prior to the interview, lack of confidence or poor eye contact, poor personal appearance, or lack of tact and/or courtesy. You will also want to avoid exhibiting behavior like evasive behavior, talking too little or way too much, inability to express oneself clearly, and unwilling to start at the bottom. As you prepare for the interview, think about these qualities and try to demonstrate them in both your responses and your attitude. When you are in your interview, there are 4 general types of questions that an employer may ask. First, there are open-ended questions. These questions do not have one specific answer, but they allow you to talk about your past experiences and what you can offer a prospective employer. For instance, questions could be, tell me about yourself. In what kind of work environment are you most comfortable? Or describe your most rewarding college experience. Next, there are direct questions, which often require just a 1 or 2 word response. Some examples include, are you willing to travel? Or, do you have plans for continued study or graduate school? Third, there are scenario questions. Employers will pose a particular scenario and then ask you to think and talk through it. One example of a scenario question would be, you see a coworker stealing money from the cash register. What do you do? Effectively answering a scenario question involves a thoughtful, detailed, and honest response. You must think through the scenario and describe to the employer what you would do, and most importantly, why. Fourth, there are behavioral questions that ask about past experiences. Interviewers generally ask these questions because they believe the most accurate predictor of future performance is past performance. These could be questions like, tell me about a time when you had to go beyond the call of duty in order to get a job finished, or describe a situation where you demonstrated leadership. In this instance, explain using a specific example, not multiple experiences. Since behavioral questions are so common, we want to coach you on the STAR method that will help you effectively answer those questions. STAR stands for Situation, Task, Action, and Result. You want to choose one experience in which you describe the context of the situation, the task at hand, the action you took, and the result that came from your action. For instance, if someone were asked to talk about a time when they effectively dealt with conflict, a story about dealing with a challenging roommate could be explained using the STAR method. Here's the situation. I'm a light sleeper and an early riser, so my roommate's loud, late-night habits were really disruptive, and it was a source of tension when we first moved in together. So the task would be, I tried to drop subtle hints, but it was clear that she was not catching on. I realized I needed to have a conversation with my roommate so that we could live together in peace. Plus, I really liked her and didn't want this to sour our new friendship. So here's the action. I asked my roommate to coffee and brought up the fact that our schedules were incompatible. I asked if my morning routine was problematic for her, and my roommate let me know how she was feeling. The face-to-face conversation helped us talk through our conflict. So the result would be, after our conversation, the tension really subsided, and we got better with communicating with each other. I am happy to say that we decided to live together next school year. You should expect several behavioral questions, so you should have 4 or 5 events, roles, and experiences ready to share with your employers. While the STAR method is great for behavioral questions, here are some general recommendations on preparing for all types of interview questions. First, on your strengths and how you would apply these to the job. An employer might ask you directly, what are some of your strengths? Have 3 to 5 strengths and examples or stories to go with each. Another question might be, if I were to ask a coworker, supervisor, or teacher what your best attributes are, what would they say? You want to be able to identify 2 to 5 positive attributes you possess and describe them in detail. For example, I have strong interpersonal skills. I really relate well to others and have a lot of experience advising and mentoring my peers. Or, I really feel I am strong at customer service. I am skilled at explaining complicated things in understandable terms and actively listening to the customer's needs. Also, make sure you reflect on your interests, values, abilities, and skills and how they best fit you with the position. Are you really enthusiastic about going green? Talk about your passion for sustainability. Do you love to travel? Talk about your cultural awareness and any language skills that you may have. This is your chance to articulate how you are uniquely qualified for the position. If you haven't already, you should consider taking the Strengths Quest assessment at the MU Career Center. The assessment helps students pinpoint their top 5 strengths and develop language to describe them. It's a fantastic tool for interview preparation. While you want to stress your strengths during an interview, you also need to know how to talk about weaknesses. Honestly evaluate yourself, but more importantly, tell the employer the steps you are taking to manage the weaknesses in order to be successful. For example, I struggle in delegating tasks to others and tend to take too much on, so I have learned to list out all responsibilities involved in a project and ask others what kinds of tasks they would prefer to do. Often their contributions exceed my expectations. When thinking about your note-taker position here at MU, There are numerous aspects you might include in an interview that would show off how this experience would help prepare you for future employment opportunities. You might highlight things like how you had to be incredibly accountable by attending class, taking exceptional notes, and consistently uploading them to the software system. The impact of this opportunity is compelling. You are helping your peers within your campus community have access to information that is difficult or impossible for them to receive otherwise. Because of this opportunity, you can talk about your own increased academic engagement, where you paid closer attention in class, and because you knew you were responsible for the content not just for yourself but for others. Maybe it is the communication piece you want to focus on, where you translated and prioritized information given to you from the instructor into written form so it could be easily understood by others. Now consider how these will transfer to other types of positions. You have honed skills in responsibility, accuracy, service to others, engaging in training and academic excellence, and taking verbal ideas and transferring them to written communication. Any of these could be great examples of ways you show off amazing experience to convince an employer that you will continue to do the same in the future. When you are trying to come up with specific examples, remember, everyday examples are fine. Most people have not climbed up mountains or started a business. Just talk about what you know. Just remember to be unique and specific. The employer wants to get to know you. By giving real-life examples, you can make yourself stand out from the pack. Let's take a look at 2 examples of answers for the question, why are you interested in working as a note-taker? Answer 1, I am interested in the note-taking job because I like to help people. Answer 2, I really enjoy giving those who learn differently a chance to be on par with others. During my time as a note-taker to provide accessibility to my peers at MU, I help them to understand content by accurately translating course info into written form. They counted on me, and I want to keep making that impact on them. The first example doesn't tell much about the person, and it doesn't help them stand out from all of the other applicants who want to help people too. The second example reveals specifically what is motivating them to apply and the value they place on education. We have covered preparation and purpose. Now let's consider polish. You want to polish your speech to reflect that you are thinking about how to help the company as if you already have the job. You can present an idea or research that you think would be beneficial to the company. This shows that you have the initiative and that you would be a great candidate for the job. For example, if you were applying for a communication job, you might say, I went ahead and made a draft of a social media strategy we might implement. Also, you should shine up your speech to include inclusive words like we and our, as if you were already a part of the company. Avoid words like you or they, which separates you from the group. This helps the employers to see you are a member of the team and someone who would fit with the company or organization. Towards the end of the interview, the employer will likely ask, do you have any questions for us? Your answer should always be yes. Have a few prepared questions for the interviewer to demonstrate that you are prepared and serious about the interview. Such questions can include, what would a typical day look like for this position? How would you describe the organizational culture and the types of employees that thrive in it? What do you like best about working here? Remember, the interview is a two-way process. The employer is interviewing you, but you are also interviewing the employer to figure out if the position is right for you. Make sure you get all your answers to the questions you have. To put a polish on the employer's impression of you, it is important to perform a typically overlooked step in the interview process: actions to take after the interview. Since you shouldn't take notes during the interview, right afterwards you will want to jot down some notes. Write down names, follow-up instructions, and impressions. It can also be helpful to talk things over with your friends or family. Make sure to let your references know they might be contacted regarding the position. Most importantly, be sure to send a thank you note to the employer as quickly as possible to thank them for the interview. If multiple people interviewed you, then you may want to send individual thank you notes to each person. A handwritten note is a nice touch, but if you have a short time frame, you can also send a thank you note over email. Make sure to keep the note brief but enthusiastic and include something specific you discussed in the interview. Now that you know the 3 P's, preparation, purpose, and polish, it's time to go out and ace your interview. If you have any other questions, please visit the MU Career Center, which is located in the lower level of the Student Success Center. They are open Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m., and they also have lots of other services to help you wherever you are in your career path. Also, be sure to check out their online resources at career.missouri.edu.